This episode of the Power Ranking Show is brought to you by Bet Online. Bet Online is your number one source for all of your betting needs. Get the latest odds, lines, and matchup reports for football, basketball, baseball, boxing, golf, and more. Bet Online continues to be the fastest and the easiest way to place your wagers, including live betting and your favorite casino and card games that are available to play right from your phone. Head to the website or use your mobile device to sign up today and get in on the action. Remember to use promo code BELIEVE for your 50% welcome bonus on your first deposit. Bet Online, where the game starts.
Well, nice job there. That is, of course, the beautiful, sultry voice of @Marcus_Mosher. We are the Power Rankings Podcast, aka the Power Rankings Show, and we are talking, believe it or not, Week 1 picks. This is weird. Like it feels it's been a minute. It's been a minute since Marcus bungled his picks for the year, but he's ready to get off to a hot start. How do you think you did picking games last year?
I'd say I got like 90 to 95% of them right. You know, there's a couple every once in a while I'd miss one, but I'm only one man, Elliot.
Yeah, I hate it when you use my sayings. So, well, we're kicking off with, of course, appropriately the kickoff night. Is it the kickoff classic now?
It's the super kickoff.
God, so
super
dumb.
Kickoff Classic on Super Thursday Night Football, which is on Sunday Night Football on NBC.
Can we please get a drop of you saying this is so dumb? It's so dumb. Whatever, whatever. Super wild card.
Super duper wild card weekend. It's excited.
Yeah, sweet. So we've got, of course, the Detroit Lions at the Kansas City Chiefs, but by all means, this is your job. So tell me what's on the palette here. What's on the plate?
Yeah, so this one has moved a lot. It started as Chiefs 6.5, 7-point favorites, but because of the Travis Kelce injury, when I sent it in this morning to Courtney, the Lions are 4.5-point underdogs. Although I've even seen on other sites, not Bet Online, which I don't know why you'd go to another site, but that's moving down to 4 and even 3.5 in some places.
Yeah, what wasn't this? I think it was 7.5 at one point because someone in my kind of writers group told me about that, and they were taking the Lions. I think I'll take the Lions here as well to cover this all day. I don't like Kansas City without Chris Jones. I don't like Kansas City with Travis Kelce having a banged up knee. I know the Lions have a lot of pressure on them. I think the real wild card here is Jared Goff play like he did at home last year or like he did on the road last year. That's the wild card.
I'll take the Chiefs minus 4.5. I just think they'll figure out a way to be good on offense. And maybe Travis Kelce will play 15, 20 snaps. But I'm going to have some faith in my guy, Patrick Mahomes, the most underrated player in the NFL.
Yeah. Yesterday, you're like, the Lions are going to win that game. That's what you told me yesterday.
No. I have a different team that's absolutely going to win this week.
So you've changed your mind on this.
Oh, yeah.
Because you figured out that Travis Kelce might play a few plays. Yeah. And you think he's going to take a shot.
Do you want the total?
Sure. Yes.
52.5.
That's pretty high. That's a high total. You know what? I don't think it's going to get that high. I would take the under on that. Okay. I think these teams will be a little sloppy. Give me the under. Okay. What's next?
A nice NFC South battle on your early afternoon slate. What's better than that? Panthers at Falcons. The Falcons are 3.5-point favorites.
But is it a super duper
NFC South battle?
NFC
Absolutely.
South battle?
Every NFC South battle is super duper.
Obviously quarterback play, young quarterbacks here will be kind of a topic. That 3.5 is tricky though, to automatically take Atlanta, don't you think?
Should Desmond Ridder be a 3.5-point favorite against anybody right now?
No. I think I'd be inclined to take Carolina. I mean, maybe Atlanta wins by more than 3, but you're trying to play the percentages. Of course, if you're gambling on the Panthers and the Falcons and you're not a Panthers or Falcons fan, I think you have larger problems than what we're talking about, but that's
Uh, my
that's
my
okay.
my advice all weekend long is just take the points. And some of these games that are so close, just take the extra points because these games tend to be close. They tend to be sloppy and they tend to be very random.
Of course, what if Bijan goes like 21 carries for 140 yards and 2 touchdowns? People are going to be so ecstatic.
I know
And boy, we're going to be talking Bijan Robinson all year. You know what will be really cool? And then 2 years from now, we'll be like, oh, he's washed.
he's 24 years old,
He's
almost
done.
24.
He doesn't matter.
Yeah,
What's next?
I'll take the Panthers. Next one, really good game. Bengals at Browns. The Browns are 2.5 point underdogs at home, and I'm taking Cleveland here to win outright.
Yeah, I will too. You skipped one, Marcus, because you went out of order. You
No,
jerk.
that's all right. That's all right. I
Yeah,
wasn't
it's
looking
not
at a
your fault.
rundown. I was looking at a different sheet that I have. That's my
As
fault.
you
I'm only human.
as you told all of us, you're just one man.
I'm just one man.
Yeah,
I apologize,
I,
Courtney.
I'm going to take Cleveland on this as well. I think Cleveland has played very well. If you look at recent history against Cincinnati, wasn't it last year? Cleveland blew Cincinnati out
Yes,
on, was it Monday night or
early in
Thursday
the
night?
year.
Monday
Yeah.
night. Yeah, it was a primetime game. And who knows? It was Black Friday. It was special Wednesday night. It was super duper Tuesday NFL action. Yeah. So I have the Browns winning this one. I think we're going to see a rebound from their defense. Obviously, there's been the question about Joe Burrow all summer. I'm actually a little bit curious how Cincinnati is going to be able to run the ball, quite frankly, in this matchup. Yeah, give me Cleveland all day to win this outright.
All right, let's go back to the game I skipped. The Houston Texans against the Baltimore Ravens. The
Oh,
Texans
how could you skip this?
I know, 10-point road underdogs in this game. Give me the Texans all day plus 10.
Do you remember when Houston played at Baltimore in the playoffs with TJ Yates?
Of course I do.
I think it
That
was
was
like
before we had
29-13.
Super Wild Card Weekend. This was just regular Wild Card Weekend.
That was very mediocre divisional round weekend. I think Houston had beat Cincinnati and then had to go to Baltimore, if I recall. Okay, so you're taking Houston all day here.
Yeah. You want my reasoning why behind the pick?
Yeah, go ahead.
Because I just don't trust Baltimore's defense at all. No Marlon Humphrey in this game because of a foot injury. The other corners have been banged up all year long. I think, or all preseason. I think it's going to be Rocky Sin starting. The edge rushers, they had to sign Jadeveon Clowney just a couple of weeks ago, and he's going to start in this game. It's not like I expect the Texans to put up a ton of points, but could the Texans get to 17 points and lose a game that's 24-17? Absolutely.
Does Rocky Sin fall somewhere between Ebenezer Ekibon and Captain Munnerlin in your all-time football name rankings?
Yeah, it's pretty good. Bronco Nagurski still number one.
Yeah. I mean, there's been some great ones. I just was curious what you thought. I mean, is Ebenezer Ekibon still your top Cowboy name?
I don't know. Pepe Zellner is pretty high.
Okay. Sweet. Boy, I think I'm going to go with you on this. I've seen Baltimore blow some teams out on opening day. They embarrassed Buffalo a few years ago. I don't know if you remember that game. It was like 47-3.
Mm-hmm.
I want to say it was Josh Allen's rookie year. They did that.
They destroyed Miami the one game. What was it? 59-0 or something?
But we also saw them fiddle fart around with the Broncos last year. I'm going to go with you on this. Houston to cover. I'm believing in D'Amico Ryans. We already did Cleveland, so we got Colts next, right?
We got Jacksonville at the Colts. The Jags are 4.5-point road favorites.
Boy, it's really easy to get sucked in here and just say, yeah, the Jags for sure. But remember the week one anomalies,
Mm-hmm. Well, usually it's the other way around where the Colts are the ones that are favored. They play Jacksonville and they're always, they get surprised or whatever. But it's a rookie quarterback without a star running back on a defense that I just don't trust.
All right, give me Jacksonville. It's boring.
But
let's talk over under on this. Jacksonville to cover, but the 4.5. But I got to think this has got to be somewhat low, even with Jacksonville's offense. I think even 48 is high for this game. I'm going to go down. I don't want to go 42. That might be too low. Let's go 45, 44.5 range.
45.5. You got it. So yeah, it's probably a number I'm staying away from.
Yep. Me too.
Right.
Okay.
Next one. The Buccaneers at the Vikings. The Bucks are 5.5-point road underdogs.
And they should be. I'll take Minnesota to cover on this. And yeah, I don't believe in the Bucks at all. Right now, I think the Bucks are one of the worst teams in the league. Hey, we might do a power rankings podcast where we talk about that.
Yeah. All right. Cool. That's a little bit of a tease. I agree with you. I'm taking Minnesota to win that game.
All right, who's winning MVP this year?
Kirk Cousins.
You haven't forgotten. Yes, Kirk Cousins. I said it right now. Just saying that. What are Baker Mayfield's? If you had to give odds on Baker Mayfield, if you bet at $100 for Baker Mayfield to win MVP, what should you get in return?
I need like a $10,000 to get back. There's just no way it's happening.
I thought you were going to say $1 million.
No, I'm not that unrealistic. I think I need 10,000 to bet 100.
Okay. Very good.
I think the most intriguing game of the weekend, it's the 49ers at the Steelers. The 49ers are 2-point favorites. Now, this was 3.5 just a couple of weeks ago, but Nick Bosa did not sign a contract today. He was not at practice. The 49ers are actually leaving on Friday. So if he doesn't sign a contract tomorrow, there's no chance of him playing. And George Kittle likely not playing in this game at all with an ab injury.
I already know where you're going. This is classic Marcus Mosher right here. You pick Pittsburgh. That way you think they have a good chance of winning because the 49ers are banged up. You don't seem like you hate the Steelers to everybody out there, but you do. And if they lose, you're happy. You're like, be it. And you walk around. No, I'm not done. You walk around. You walk around in your fat sweats. Whatever. What do you call those ones that you wear?
They're like my swishy.
They're
pants.
like 8 sizes too big with your little transistor radio, listening to. And this, I'm going to quote Marcus here, listening to the Steelers radio cry on Monday. Yeah. So I'm taking the 49ers.
Now I'm going to give you the
all banged up.
I'm going to give you the objective take here.
Yeah, please do.
Pittsburgh is actually really good early in the season. We saw last year they forced 5 turnovers on Joe Burrow in week 1. They're just a really good early season team, partly because they play their starters a lot in the preseason, where you compare it to the 49ers who really didn't. I think Brock Purdy got 1 series. They're missing guys on the offensive line. They're missing their best player on defense. They're missing their best blocker in George Kittle, and that's going to be a problem when you're trying to block TJ Watt and Alex Highsmith. I just see this being a game where the 49ers struggle to get things going on offense. Don't forget the 49ers last year, they lost to the Bears in Chicago in a game they couldn't score. And then I believe it was week 2 or week 3, they lost to the Broncos in a game they couldn't score early in the season. This tends to happen with Kyle Shanahan teams.
I agree. I think the final score of this game is 13-10, 49ers. If the over-under on this is anything over 38.5, lay $1 billion down. I think if Vegas is smart, this is below 38.5. This should be like, I bet you they did 37 on this.
41.5. And that number has dropped a little bit with Nick Bosa.
Oh, that's so high. That's so high. Dude, bet on that all day. That's the best thing I've heard yet. Okay, go ahead.
Our next game, it's the Commanders against the Cardinals. The Cardinals are 7-point road dogs.
It's a little much, don't you think? I know the Cardinals stink.
It's Josh Dobbs starting at quarterback.
Oh. It really is hard to make a case for the Cardinals. You know,
it's just that's 7 points.
But you know what's great about the Cardinals is their very mediocre offense is made up for by a really cruddy defense.
I won't be surprised if the Cardinals keep this game close. I really won't be.
Yeah. So what are you calling here?
This is it's 100% a stay away for me. Stay away. I'll pick the Commanders to win, but I'm picking the
I would walk away.
You don't this game.
You don't want.
Thank you for that graphic. We are not betting at this game.
If you thought you had problems betting on Carolina, Atlanta, if you're betting on this game, I really want you to reevaluate some things. Go bid on Legos on eBay, classic Legos. There will be worth tons of money in 10 years. Let's go. What's next?
We also have like 7 early games, and there's just no way this game should ever be on your TV unless like somebody has, a pick 6 from 110 10 yards out.
We are being a little lighthearted. One more thing about Washington. I am really genuinely interested to see how Sam Howell plays this year. Truly, I am genuinely interested. They've been trying to find a quarterback for a while. He played okay against Dallas, but we know that wasn't really Dallas's best effort because they didn't have to have the game. You don't want to discount that either. So I am curious because that would make the NFC East quite interesting, I think, if he turns out to be a good player.
Yeah. All right. Our next game, we've got the Packers at the Bears, a really interesting game. Packers 1-point road underdogs.
Yeah, I think I could easily see Green Bay winning this, people getting excited, and then Green Bay still going 7-10. So I'm going to go ahead and put some faith in Justin Fields and the Bears, and I think they get the season started off on the right foot. 1 point really means nothing in terms of gambling. It's not going to change your mind either way. I think you have to at least get to like the 2.5 point to even consider that. Would you agree with that? Like in terms of
it's basically a pick 'em.
Right. And then 3.5 becomes tricky. You don't have to deal with any of that. I'll take Chicago to win and cover, as it were.
Yeah, I'm right there with you. Next one. This one's really interesting. The Raiders at the Broncos. Now, the Raiders are 3.5 point underdogs in this game. It's actually moved up to 4 since this morning because of, we'll get into it. But the Raiders have beaten the Broncos in 6 straight games. They have not lost to them in the 2020s. I'm interested to hear your thoughts here.
I think the Broncos are going to win this game. This kind of reminds me a little bit of 2003, Philadelphia playing at Dallas. And the Cowboys had just a horrible record against Philadelphia. Philadelphia just owned them in the division. And, Bill Parcells went back and looked at all those games. And he saw where Andy Reid had no problem starting the game off with an onside kick. So when Andy Reid started the game off with an onside kick, you remember this? Randall Williams scored the fastest touchdown in the history of the NFL.
Touchdown. Yeah.
By basically intercepting or recovering the onside kick and sprinting the other way. And I bring this up because Sean Payton was on that staff. And I think Sean Payton's going to go back, is well aware of the Raiders owning the Broncos, and is going to look back at those games and find a couple little things. And the Raiders are going to be woefully ill prepared for that. So I'm basically telling you, I trust the coaching for one team. What I'm curious from you is, how do you look at the quarterback battle in this game?
It's ugly.
2 guys with a lot to prove, don't you think? Even though they both have some skins on the wall.
Yeah. Which one do you trust more right now?
Russell Wilson.
I think
because of his, you trust Garoppolo?
I think so.
I trust Wilson because of the coaching that's there in place. And because, similar to his early Seattle days, you think the Raiders are going to score 28 in this game? I mean, I think the Raiders might score 17. I think Russell Wilson knows, he goes out there, don't make big mistakes, put 20 on the board, and you're going to win. Speaking of the over-under in this game, this is very similar to the other one. If it's 41.5 like the other, I think I'd take the under.
It's 44.
Yeah, I would take the under on that all day.
I like the Raiders to keep it within 3.5 points. I think,
but do you think it's going to be 26-20? You think the Raiders will score that much on the Broncos defense?
I think we get like a 23-20 game,
which would be under.
Yeah, slightly.
Yeah, okay.
All right. Next one. My favorite game of the weekend, Dolphins at Chargers. Dolphins 3-point underdogs in this one.
Well, Dolphins Chargers, this is maybe the greatest game of all time, 1981 divisional playoff, although that game was in the heat in Miami. A lot of good memories of Dolphins Chargers games, man. Miami was undefeated in 84. They played at San Diego and they lost their first game of the year. And I was a kid, a little kid. And I thought the Dolphins were never going to lose with Dan Marino. I literally, as a little kid, thought that it was unfair that Miami had Dan Marino and everybody else just had like who they had. Like Dallas had Gary Hogaboom. I thought that was so unfair that the NFL was unfair. It still is unfair if you look at some of the quarterbacks.
Gary Hogaboom, Survivor contestant.
That's right.
Call to fame.
All right.
I kind of like Miami in this game.
Oh, I knew you were going to say that. Doggone it, Marcus. I'm going to give a vote of confidence to Justin Herbert.
Okay, that's fine. I'm really excited. This should be a really good high-scoring game. By the way, the total in that one's 51. It's pretty high.
It is pretty high. Do you remember the opener last year, the Chargers Raiders, where neither quarterback played very well? Wasn't that last year? The opener?
That was
Raiders
week
at
two.
Chargers?
Week two.
You
The Raiders
sure?
played the Titans in week one last year and lost right at the end of the game.
Oh, cookies. Well, then I got it screwed up.
It's fine.
I
You're only
thought
one man.
Chargers Chiefs was week 2 and Chargers Raiders was week 1. You
Maybe that
sure
was
about that?
yeah. No, I'm not sure about anything anymore. I'm getting
Raiders
old.
Titans was like Marshawn Lynch when they had
No,
him.
get
They
out of here.
opened up at
All right.
Tennessee. Yeah.
Next game. I know that you're gonna watch every second of it. We've got the Eagles and the Patriots here. What do you think the line
It's
is?
not. This is not the one you're going to predict. I'll watch every second of because I know what kind of comments coming from you. Eagles Patriots. I think this is a really interesting game. I actually think this is going to be close.
I do think you're
the
gonna watch a
first
lot of
half.
this game. I really do.
Yeah. I don't care what the spread is. I'm taking the Eagles. I think they're fantastic. I think they're the best 22 in the league, and I don't think they're going to come out flat this year. Not because they're coaching, because of their quarterback, his leadership, and the veterans they have on that team. But what is the spread on this game?
4. Eagles are favored by 4.
Yeah, give me that all day. Give me that all day.
New England's not a very good early season team. It usually takes them about a month or so to kind of start figuring things out. I just think that pass rush of the Eagles is going to be absolutely ridiculous. Take the Eagles to win and cover.
Do you have any faith, by the way, in the Patriots passing game right now?
Well, I do have a little bit because I think Bill O'Brien's a really good coordinator. It's going to take them a bit.
Okay. We know we're going to have some weird ones in week 1. So maybe this is one of the weird ones where New England wins in overtime. But here we go.
All right. Rams at Seahawks. Rams 5-point underdogs at home. Or sorry, on the road. I don't understand how the Rams keep this game close.
I don't either, but boy, does Seattle have a history of playing down to their opponents, especially in week 1. Oh, this would be, you talk about a walkaway game. I would walk away from this all day. I've seen Seattle is notorious in the Pete Carroll era for playing down to its opponent, even when they were great.
But they also played really well in week 1 last year. Remember they beat the Broncos in that really fun Monday night game against Russell Wilson. Remember how well they played?
No.
Maybe Denver's just really bad.
No, I remember that game though. I remember the genius play calling at the end of the game by Nathaniel Hackett.
Yeah. I'm taking the Seahawks to cover that spread. I think they blow them out.
All right, I'll take Seattle to cover, but there's no way. If you're betting on this game, you're probably betting on Carolina, Atlanta, and whatever the other awful one I told you was that you shouldn't be betting on. So
it's been a little bit since I've got the bet on the NFL. So of course,
Yeah.
All right, our Sunday night football game, a classic week 1 game. Cowboys at Giants. Cowboys 3.5-point favorites. A couple injury things really quickly. Tyler Smith, the Cowboys left guard, has a hamstring injury. I don't think he's going to play. Sam Williams and Donovan Wilson unlikely to play for Dallas as well.
Yeah, Dexter Lawrence out for the Giants. Leonard Williams out for the Giants. Saquon
They're
Barkley
100%
not
healthy.
playing.
100% healthy.
I'll take Dallas. Dallas wins, maybe only by 4, but Dallas wins on the road. And I got to see more from Daniel Jones this year. I thought he played pretty well last year. I defended him a lot. He played great against Minnesota, but I want to see the Daniel Jones that made on-time precision throws, where his receivers did not have to stop on slants. I want to see that against the Cowboys because that's what the Giants need to get back to the playoffs and win a game this year.
I think Mike McCarthy is a pretty underrated coach, but he's not very good in week 1. He's lost all 3 week 1 games as the Cowboys head coach. Even when he was with Green Bay, they struggled in week 1. None of the starters on either side of the ball played for Dallas in the preseason. I'm going to pick the Cowboys to win, but I'll pick the Giants to cover here. I think we get like a 21-20 type of game. It comes right down to the last possession.
What's the over-under on this? I have a feeling they put it too high again.
46.5.
I was going to guess 47.5. I would be inclined to take the under, but I don't think that's one that I would bet on. But here's what you have to look forward to. If the Cowboys do lose, Mike McCarthy is going to be in the locker room. He's going, hey, fellas, I didn't know we were going to have to play 2 opponents out there.
Just can't let that one go, can you?
No, I can't. Let's go with our top game of the week.
We've got Bills at Jets on Monday Night Football. We've got Aikman and Buck doing the game. Oh, this is great. This is so much fun. Bills 2.5-point road favorites. I think I'm taking the Jets here.
This is a good game. I'm going to I like the Jets a lot. You know that. But I think they're going to get a little humbled in week 1 here. I think Buffalo is going to go in there and take it to them. I like Buffalo to win. I like Buffalo to cover. Are they giving this game 50 points?
46.
Yeah. The reason I asked that was because it's week one. Aaron Rodgers, a new offense, and preseason, how many of these teams are playing starters? It's really tough to gauge, but this is the kind of game that I think later in the year could be high scoring. I know the Jets defense is pretty good. I, I think Buffalo's going to win by at least a touchdown.
I don't want to say a week one game is a must win because there's no such thing. But I kind of think the Jets need to win this one. You look at the Jets' early season schedule. So they play at home against Buffalo. On a short week, they play the Cowboys in Dallas. Then they turn right around and play the Patriots. And then they play the Chiefs. And then they play the Eagles. Like, that is a brutal start to the season. I don't know how many games you can drop in this division and in this conference early in the year against these good opponents.
That's right. You're always subject to drop a game to the Patriots, even if they are the weakest team in the division, excuse me. And then on top of that, by the time they play Kansas City, is Chris Jones going at full tilt?
Yeah.
Is Travis Kelce fully healthy?
I would imagine.
Yeah, you don't want to start 1-4 because even if you're good enough to climb out of that hole in a 17-week season, which I think you are, this is a Jets team with kind of a new MO and a new personality with Aaron Rodgers at quarterback. And honestly, too, with Nathaniel Hackett, who had a really bad year last year. If this offense gets off to a really bad start in this, kind of early season window against some good teams, that certainly doesn't bode well. And Philadelphia and Dallas's defenses are not going to be a pushover at all.
And I should also mention the schedule really doesn't let up. They play the Giants and then the Chargers and then the Bills and then the Dolphins and then the Dolphins again after a bye. They've got the Commanders and Browns and Patriots to finish the season. Like, there's just not a lot of like layup games for the Jets here.
That said, I like this team a lot.
Yeah,
I think this team could be a really quality team that only wins 10 games because of the schedule. But kind of like we've talked about before, it's like drafting guys in fantasy. You draft guys that may not gel right away or can't play. You don't care. In fantasy, you just want to get into the tournament. And once you're in the tournament, you have the strongest lineup. You beat everybody. And I could see something like that happening with the Jets. Unfortunately, they're in the AFC, where that's going to be a lot. What if the Jets were in the NFC? We'd be talking about them as a Super Bowl team, wouldn't we?
Yeah, I mean, we still are talking about them as a Super Bowl team. Spoiler for our power ranking show that's going to come out
way to go.
later day. All right, let's run through the games really quickly.
Yeah.
Lions, Chiefs. I like the Chiefs to win and cover. I think you like the Lions here outright.
Yeah, I took the Lions. Yeah.
Panthers, Falcons. You are a degenerate if you're betting on this game. I like the Panthers here. You like the Panthers as well.
Yeah.
Texans, Ravens, we both like the Ravens to win, but the Texans to cover. Bengals, Browns, we both just like the Browns to win that game outright. Jags, Colts, another one that you should not be watching, but we're taking the Jags here. Bucks, Vikings, we like the Vikings. Steelers, 49ers. I like the Steelers to win. You like the 49ers to win. I'll be right on that one on Monday morning. Cardinals, Commanders, we both like the Commanders to win, but stay away from that spread. Packers, Bears, we're going to show a little faith in Justin Fields and the Bears, so take the Bears there. Raiders, Broncos, we both like the Broncos to win. I like the Raiders to cover that spread. Dolphins, Chargers, you're taking Herbert. I'm taking Tua. Eagles, Patriots, we like the Eagles. Rams, Seahawks. I like the Seahawks to cover. You like the Seahawks to win, but maybe be a little bit wary about that line. Cowboys, Giants, I'm taking the Giants to win. You're taking the Cowboys to win. Bills, Jets, I'm taking the Jets. You are taking the Bills.
That is correct. So I like the unders the most from what we saw here. That being said, you got to be really careful. This is my note about week one. Be really careful gambling on week one. Week one has always been an anomaly. There's always about 3 games that boggle the mind. And this might be a week that you just wait and see. And if you just want to take your favorite team in their game, this might be the week to just do that. Take your favorite team and bet on them because it is a little bit too difficult to decipher. And with preseason the way it is now, hardly anyone is playing anyone. You can glean very, very little other than injury news and holdout news from the preseason. Please interrupt if you think I'm saying anything that's not accurate here. But I just think you're really want to be careful with your money if you're doing that. By the way, let's circle back on Atlanta, Carolina. We had Carolina to cover. Do you have Atlanta to win the game? I mean, Carolina to cover the spread. I think Carolina was what, a 3.5 point underdog.
No, I'll take the
What do you
Falcons
think?
I'll take the Falcons to win. I think this is
Me
just going to
too.
be like a 20-17 slugfest game with a
Yeah.
lot of running, and it's going to be over by 3:30 p.m. Eastern time. So
Well,
I'll take the
I
Falcons.
just I know we had one listener out there who's, driving in their Nissan Sentra going up to Medieval Times to get tickets for tonight. And they're like, why didn't they say who's going to win Atlanta, Carolina? And listen, we got your back. We've got Atlanta winning, Carolina to cover. That's my final thing for today is the advice on week one. Like I told you that I like the unders, but just bet on your favorite team this week.
Yeah.
So
My
do
last
what Marcus
word.
does, bet on the Steelers.
Yeah, my last word here. I like the Nissan Maximas the best. If you're going to go with it, just a
Yeah.
car, four-door
What about a
sedan.
Pulsar? Are you
Yeah, it's
familiar
fine.
with the Pulsar?
I am.
Yeah.
I still do. I've got a Nissan Rogue. Love it a lot. This is not a show sponsored by Nissan yet, but we are sponsored by Bet Online. So if you're going to bet on the NFL games this weekend, go check out Bet Online and some of the cool offers they have available over there.
I've been really working towards that Ford Pro sponsorship
I want the
diligently.
Ford Raptor.
Yeah, I know you do. I know you jack it all up. Oh gosh, you guys have to hear Marcus talk about his truck. Okay, I'm going to bail us out of here.
All right.
Those are our picks. I hope you guys all pick well this week. I would definitely listen to mine, not his. Also, we've got a Power Rankings podcast coming up. If you want Marcus's further takes on Cowboys Giants, he and Landon McCool do a great job on Locked On Cowboys. They deep dive into that game. That is on the Locked On Network, of course. And then Marcus covers Dynasty, Fantasy Dynasty for Locked On as well. And he covers the Raiders for USA Today Raiders Wire. He is at Marcus_Mosher. I'm at Harrison NFL on Twitter. And we really appreciate you guys. Believe, Bet Online, and of course, Brinks. Thank you, Courtney, for the beautiful rundown. And we will talk to you guys later.